And so when you're able to speak their language as well as your own language, then there's a kind of like, oh, well, oh, okay. And so the ear becomes different. They start actually listening. Being a purist is not always a bad thing. Purist in the sense of the energy of a thing. I do believe in being a purist in terms of the energy and the soul of the thing, in terms of the embodied technique. Then there's room for innovation and all of that. You know, purist, it keeps us locked in if we say
And
we
there's
can't.
a
For me, that firstly has to do with making sure that you know the history, right, of a thing and the energy that birthed the culture. So when we talk about the energy that births hip hop and street dance practices, really knowing what that is so that you can articulate it, but being able to parallel it to a universal experience. So like if I teach an intro to hip hop course in a higher learning setting, I'll talk about the origins of hip hop culture and all of the energies, what was happening socioeconomically, what was happening politically, and this idea of persevering, overcoming, feeling like you're marginalized and not being heard, feeling like you've been overlooked. And then I then say, yes, work, okay, yeah.
cosign.
Right, confirmation. And say if you've ever felt like that in your life, if you felt overlooked, if you felt like you've persevered, if you felt doubted, if you felt like you have been on a certain side of injustice, if you felt frustrated, if you felt like you needed an outlet, then you are able to tap into the energy that birthed hip hop culture. And in that sense, that becomes your entry point into the practice so that you don't feel like you're an outsider, you don't feel like you're appropriating, but you're finding an energetic entry point into an embodied practice and a cultural space. And if you start with the feeling first, the feeling is the very thing that's going to carry you. Even when you're struggling with the technique, even when you feel awkward, if you can tap into the energy, that is the thing that people are attracted to about hip hop and street dance. They think they're attracted to the signifiers. If I walk a certain way, talk a certain way, dress a certain way, that's hip hop, that's street dance. It's the energy that the world is trying to capture. It's the energy that people have taken and monetized and used for everything, to sell everything, because it's something that creates an ire, creates a feeling inside of you that is celebratory, yes, but it also is empowering. And people want to feel empowered. They want to feel heard. They want to feel understood. And people want to feel a little rebellious, and sometimes a lot rebellious. And so all of those things, the energy to me is the most relatable part. And that goes beyond race and ethnicity and gender. And so you can take a class, you can take let's say a house class for 10 years and never understand the feeling of being at a house club. And you could go to a house club and in one night understand what you've been trying to grasp in 10 years from taking a class. So you got to invite people into the space too, because you can only transcend the space, but so much. You have to go to the thing to experience the energy of the thing. Being free, and freedom is a technique. I always say that freedom is a technique. That's my motto when I teach. Freedom is a technique.